All righty, boys and girls, we've got a full slate here on State of the Atmosphere tonight. We've got some friends along for the ride. We're going to talk about, and this is not in the order we're going to do it, but we're going to look at Netflix number one show right now called Wednesday. Me and my wife have been checking that out. Let's see. We're going to do a review of the entire series run of The Walking Dead, just not in super detail, but we're going to go over why that show was so popular for so long and why a lot of people checked out of it. We'll check it out. And we're also going to touch on the Twitter files. Mr. Elon is releasing some stuff little by little to keep you your eyes locked on his new product. All that and more tonight on State of the Atmosphere. All right, welcome aboard for this week's edition of State of the Atmosphere. I am your host, Joe's Atmosphere. What's going on, boys and girls? Yes, I have not been replaced. I cut my beard off. Don't worry, I won't bite. It's good to see you guys. And along for the ride this evening, I have a couple of friends. Of course, if you don't know already, this is the show where I just kick back and talk to the chat and my friends, and we talk about current events and stuff like that. And the first guy in tonight was my man from Pop Culture Minefield, Das Wolfen. What's up?
Hey,
What's up, Twitter vetter?
not a lot. I still got my beard.
Yeah, I don't. Well, see, I don't know how to
Yeah.
say this, but you know, you reach a certain age, you're not in a hurry to shave every day. So, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I let it go too long, man. It was messing my skin up. I had to get rid of that thing. It was messing with me bad. But anyway, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. You had a good stream last night.
Yeah.
I checked in there. And you got to teach me how to do that stream element thing so I can get some tips on this thing. Yeah. You got to teach me.
Thank
how
you
to
very
do
much
that.
for the tip. Yeah, it's
No problem, man.
it took me a minute to set it up, but it's not that hard.
Yeah. I know I've seen certain guys that don't have 1,000 followers yet use that, and they read the messages that come in and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely want to do that. I just haven't learned how to do it yet. But anyway, we also have what straight from the zombie apocalypse, Knock. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, not bad. I can't grow a beard, so mine's just like crap.
You got like kind of a goatee.
I gotta shave the outside here underneath and just keep the goatee.
I was fixing to say, just tighten it up, man. You got a sweet goatee, no problem. Yeah.
Goatee's good.
That's cool. Yeah, so how are you doing this week, man? I think
pretty good. Good. Middle of the week, work week, and yeah, it's just been a ride. Going to be moving here soon, so
yeah,
fun. Good, fun month. At the end of the month, I'll be moving. So I tore down my setup a little bit here, so I just have my laptop. So I don't have my second screen at the moment. I'm not going to have it for probably the rest of the year.
Oh, that's cool.
So just use my laptop.
I can help you. Hey, man, on Sundays, if you need me to put up certain graphics and stuff, just let me know.
We'll I have an idea of what I want. This week's going to be pretty easy. We're just because all we have is just announcing the bowl games and probably dive into a little bit of the XFL. But other than that, not going to be a very busy week outside of the NFL.
And Martin is saying, greetings, my excellent friends. And he said hi to each and every one of us in the chat.
Yep.
It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right. So, what would we like to talk about first tonight? Well, I'll tell you what I want to talk about first tonight because it just cracked me up when I saw this, man. Let me get this on here. Eric July sent this out, and he sent out a graphic with it, which I just loved. I don't know if you guys saw this. That comment. I think it was on Vanity. Is that what it was? Let me see. Hang on. Let me put it up here. I think it was a Vanity Fair interview or something like that, and it was Jennifer Lawrence. Anyway, let me read what Eric said. Hollywood studios and stars continue to promulgate. His vocabulary is bigger than mine. I don't even know what that word means. The idea that representation was missing from movies until 5 minutes ago. Jennifer Lawrence says nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie because it wouldn't work, in reference to the Hunger Games. And she says in the interview that some exec or somebody told her that they hadn't done it yet because it wouldn't work. And you see what Eric put all around her in the picture, right? Every friggin' tough chick that's been in movies for a long time, you know what I mean? First one that popped into my head was that one right there, friggin' Laura Croft, you know. And but I'm fans of all of these, you know. It's not like they didn't exist. I just, that cracked me up when I heard her say that in an interview.
I don't know the two on the left.
Do what?
I don't know the two on the left.
The two on the left? Okay, the two on the left, that's the bride from Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah, I never cared for those movies.
Oh, dude, come on.
I didn't, yeah. I recognize
the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah, I did not care for those at all.
And this is the Terminator from the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I can't remember this.
Oh, the new one.
No, actually, yes, she is. However, she's also River from Serenity.
Oh,
that's true. She's in Serenity. That's right.
I don't recognize her in that. I don't know.
That's from the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
That one, so.
That's why I said that. That's from the Sarah Connor
version.
And I was over there moving my mouse over that, circling that when I was talking. So that's
in spirit. I saw it.
Yeah.
But I saw that and all I could do was laugh, man. I was like, these people are so self-important. They think movies weren't made before they showed up, you know?
Yeah.
I watched the first Hunger Games, by the way, and I didn't watch any of the rest of the series because I just wasn't down with kids killing kids. But that's the old man talking. You know what I mean?
I dug the movies. I've watched the series a couple times.
My daughter was a huge fan of. She was a huge fan of the book series too. So yeah. Let's see. I just thought it was too damn funny that she thought that. I was like, of course, and they had the girl. And the girl that was interviewing her, I thought this was kind of funny. It was the girl that's the star of the Woman King.
Viola Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis. I thought that was really weird. I saw this earlier today, and I all I could do was laugh. I was like,
you figure she would call her on it, but no,
right? But no, you know, they're just shilling for their product. You know what I mean?
And it's just like they say, movies were never diverse until,
right.
It's like, or there's never been an Asian, Simu Lang or whatever his name is, the guy that plays Shang-Chi. There's never been an Asian lead until Moy. And I'm like, do you remember Bruce Lee? Do you remember Jackie Chan? Hello.
Do you know who these guys are? I mean, it's really weird, dude.
Jet Li. There's been a ton.
Jet Li. Oh my gosh. I tell you what, Jet Li, me and my wife's a fan of him. We watched, first one we watched together was, what was the name of that movie? Romeo Must Die. You know, the one where they showed when he do the impact on him and they show the X-ray vision part of it that looked like he was breaking all these bones and stuff. It's very cool. But anyway,
my favorite was the one, because only
the one. Yes,
only he can be himself. Like that's
yes.
Yeah.
He's the only one that can beat Jet Li.
It was awesome, man. The one was great. That was a great movie. Yep. Oh, there's the Royal Fox. She said, "Love Jet Li." Yeah, she does love some Jet Li, man.
I'm brain. What's the one where he's like, he plays like the pet. He's a fighter,
Mm-hmm.
but he keeps him like a dog.
Oh,
Morgan Freeman.
God, Unchained, I think is the name of it, right?
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite movies of his too.
Yeah, that was a fantastic movie. He was this guy's pit bull. Yeah, it was the guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the English actor that was the lead in that one. Yeah, he was the bad guy in it.
Yeah,
fantastic movie.
I had to look it up. The movies that are my favorite of his are his Once Upon a Time in China series.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good.
And his Fong Say Yuck movies, which is about the martial artist healer guy.
Okay.
Another one he did, I think it was Hero.
Yeah, Hero was good. That was good. That was made by the guys that made Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
They didn't dub that at all either. When they played it in theaters, you had to read subtitles.
That's right.
And I'm fine with that. A lot of people
are. Well, the older I get, the less I want to do it because I'm just a slow reader, you know. And but that one, there wasn't much dialogue in that one though. So I mean, it's a beautiful movie to look at though. It was great, great visuals.
Like one of those rain scenes. Oh,
mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a cool movie. But yeah, it just cracked me up when I saw that. I figured you guys get a kick out of that. I loved the picture. I wasn't going to talk about it but when I saw what Eric put up on Instagram, I said that's perfect. That's perfect. He threw together all like Sigourney Weaver's character from Alien, who was in how many sequels of that show before they killed her off, and I mean, yeah, the entire Underworld series.
Didn't even do Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman.
Right, Wonder Woman. I mean,
the first one, not the second one. The second one sucked ass.
Well, the second one did suck ass, but the first one, from what I understand, this is a rumor, but the first one is the entire reason why we have the MCU now with all these chick characters, because Feige saw how successful that one was and got jealous and wanted to make all his friggin' superheroes chicks, so yeah. But anyway, all right.
And how's that working out for him?
It's not working out well. I mean, they're still making money, but I ain't seen a $1 billion hitter since Spider-Man. And that's right, they didn't get those billions, did they? Sony got
that was Sony.
Three quarters of that, didn't they? Yeah. Oops.
Yep.
And he's a guy. It wasn't Spider-Gwen. It was 3 different Spider-Men, right?
Yeah.
Who was it earlier today? I saw that somebody tweeted out earlier today. Oh, it was Chris Gore, the friggin' the Hollywood critic.
Yeah,
he's got a channel called Film Threat. He tweeted out earlier today, make Marvel male again. And he got all kinds of friggin' flack for it, man. Oh, dude, yeah. He said he actually lost a couple of friendships off of that one tweet, man. Yeah, I was watching him on Midnight's Edge after dark earlier today, and yeah, that's nutty. These people, they need to pay attention to what Spider-Man did, what Top Gun Maverick's done. And after listening to Chris Gore, he's going to talk about it more here in the coming days, but he's seen Avatar. And he said he's not going to be shocked if it makes a bunch of money. He said it's like Top Gun Maverick. It's, he said it's a popcorn movie. Check your brain at the door. He said it's got some stupid shit in it. It's got some. He said he got some shit from some of the people that were watching it with him because they were audibly laughing out loud at some bad dialogue in it, right? But he said it's like the first one. It's a good movie, and yes, it's got a. Yeah, it's not a. You know how the first one had the what do you call it? The environmental message to it? Yeah. This one, he said, is specifically about whales. and he, he said one thing about Cameron, you know what you're getting when you're going in. He's not gonna tiptoe around the subject matter. It's about the harvesting of whales.
He's gonna slap you upside the head with it.
Right, he's gonna smack you upside the head with it. And he said it's a good. He was suggesting, because this was on the Nooner with Nerdrotic, okay, and Quarterback Garrett was there, and he's got young kids, right? And he said, "How old's your oldest son?" He goes, 11. He said, "Take your son to go see it with you." He said, "It's a great father-son movie." And this is Chris Gore talking, who's not going to pull punches if it's shit.
No.
He said, "You got to check your brain at the door," and it is 3 hours long. He said runtime's like 3 hours and 10 minutes. But that's the first cool thing I've heard about it in our sphere, And if Chris Gore's liking it, I usually I got the same taste as him usually. So
I really wish I could find like a Twitter or something to follow that I think I mentioned this before too, where it would give you like for Endgame, I was given a piece of advice that I still am grateful to this day. And he said, a coworker of mine said, when you see the words Amsterdam, that's when you go to the bathroom. And I wish that there was like something I could follow that it could be like, when you see this big gigantic.
Yeah. Somebody let us know.
Just know that the next 5 minutes aren't worth anything. So go to the bathroom at this point. I wish there was something like that out there that existed, because I don't mind these 3-hour movies, but there is going to be one point where I'd like to go to the bathroom for 3 hours. So it'd be nice if I was given a point, and it was true that Amsterdam scene where it showed Ronan killing a bunch of people, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It really didn't matter in Endgame. Mm-hmm. Like that was perfect. It was the most perfect advice. I ended up watching it later. I was like, wow, that was I'm really glad he told me that.
Yeah,
because I didn't give a crap about that scene. So
well,
I wish there was something like that.
I'm lucky. I was blessed with the bladder of a camel. So
I've got one too. I will not get up there.
Usually make it through it, but still, it'd be nice to be able.
I got to go afterwards, but right.
I mean, it's not like I can't hold it to the end. I just don't want to hold it to the end. And if I knew for a fact that when I saw this milestone in the movie, I can go and be safe, I'd do it.
So are you taking notes, Hollywood? Let us know when we can take a bathroom break.
Yeah. If you're gonna
bring back the intermission,
movies,
there you go. They used to have intermissions.
Even that.
They used to have that.
Hey, 5 minutes. Yeah, right.
I remember my earliest, the first movie I remember going to see, and I saw it as a very young kid, was Sound of Music. And it was made in 1965. And this movie's 4 hours long, Knock. And they had no problem making 4-hour movies back in the day, but there was an intermission, and it lasted 10 minutes. You had a 10-minute intermission, and they would bring up the house lights, and it would say intermission on there, and they would tell you when it's going to start back up again.
Yeah, just put a timer on there.
Anima, how you doing, girl? It's good to see you. Thanks for watching, darling. Do I have her on the thread? If you want to jump in here, let me know. I'll send you a link. No, she's got a link. She's been in here before. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so next I want to touch on. We're going to save Walking Dead for last, just in case John wants to bust out of here when we get to the last season, if he doesn't want to get anything spoiled. I want to talk about this. It was a pleasant surprise for me and my wife. We watched this over the last about 3 days. Have you guys seen Wednesday yet? Oh man. That's pretty cool. But look, it's number 1 on Netflix right now.
Yeah, that's too. I saw those number 1.
Is that crazy?
750 million views.
Yeah. It's a fantastic show.
It's almost like a female lead. I did see I did see a couple pictures as well of the hand. And the actor that was like underneath the table with his hand. Thing.
Yeah.
And they showed him like, behind the scenes where he's actually like under the desk, like reaching up and stuff like that. That cracked me up. I was like,
Did you ever see the original show? Did you ever watch any of that?
No.
It's pretty good stuff. Anima's coming in. Look out. How you doing, Anima?
Damn it. Hey, I was about to type that I'm in the group, but it's kind of late. It's almost 1 a.m. here. Then you start talking Wednesday, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going. Because the past 2 evenings, Gary and I have been binging that show. I think we have 1 episode left.
Oh yeah,
Because
okay.
I bailed last night because it was really, really late, like 3 or 4 or something.
Like, I haven't watched it yet, but everybody in my personal circle's raving about it. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna break down and watch it
Saturday. So
my favorite character is Thing. He's so funny.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Lord Toff says save Gingers. Yeah, they're trying to get rid of them. They're trying to get rid of them. Yep. Well, I tell you what, then. I don't want to ruin it for Knock, that's for sure. But as you can hear, there are a few of us here that are enjoying that show. I've seen it from beginning to end.
I'll probably end up binging it this weekend. Probably starting Friday. There's not a lot of football this weekend until Sunday, so that's probably when I'll binge it this week. I'll start Friday night and I'll binge it on Saturday.
All right.
Knock, your name is confusing me. You know why?
Knock? Why? What's wrong with
because
Knock?
In Croatian, Noć means night, and that's how I read your name, even though it doesn't have the accent on the C.
Oh, well, I got it from Knock. Knock was created from a video game that me and Joe, I always call him Pry because Privateers.
If you hear him call me...
I've only called him that for over a decade.
He's calling me by my name.
When I don't think about it, I'll call him Pry by accident. But Knock was created. It actually originally was NOQ.
NOQ.
But the whole purpose of Knock was that my character, when I actually had a backstory from him, he was a bowman, and knock from a bow. Knock a bow. So that's where his name was for. And then something happened, and he turned into a Green Lantern because they did something in the game, and I had to make a new character, so I made an NOC.
Boy, yeah. He was upset too. He was like, "What? I can't change it back."
They did a thing in the game where they changed your powers, and I didn't want it to happen. So, and at the time, they didn't have a way to switch it back until like 5 years
Now they do,
later.
but at the time,
now they do. It was very early on in the game's life, so they didn't have anything like that. So I had to create a whole new character, and I used NOC, and that just stuck with me all.
That's been his moniker on the internet forever.
I see it, and I see Network Operations Center, but that's just.
I instantly thinking Mission Impossible, the first movie.
Well, one of my other guys is Nige, and Nige. Hey Martin, and Nige was a backup to Joe's character, the privateer. He was like a bodyguard kind of deal. That was his backstory.
Yep.
And then I looked up NIJ, and it actually said like National Institute of Justice, and I was like, that is so perfect.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So I didn't know that at the time when I made it. And
all of his characters had 3 letters in their name. That was.
I have some too that are 2 actually too. I still have them.
Mm-hmm.
People always try to.
How are you doing, Martin Acosta Santana? How are you?
Well, I am, and that's good enough.
I am. That's good enough. Please tell me your head's not still killing you. Please tell me that's not.
No, thank God, no.
Okay, good.
That's good to hear, Martin.
Yeah.
But we won't spoil it for Knock or John since they haven't seen it yet.
But I am gonna watch it.
I will tell you, it's like a goth version of freaking Harry Potter. So if you're a fan of Harry Potter, you will dig it. It is really, really good. All
right,
pleasantly surprised. Okay, well then, you know what we got to get into then. We got to get into The Walking Dead. Yes, boys and girls, it is finally over. Or is it? Or is it?
Yeah,
boys and girls.
Really.
Or is it?
I never watched it. I'm out.
You've never watched it?
No.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry to hear that. You should have watched it. It was a good show.
Hashtag
it was on for 11 years.
Zombies.
At one time, it was.
I'm not into zombies.
Oh, trust me. Look, I've got a wife, young lady. Now, you've met the Royal Fox. You've been on a stream with her before. She doesn't do horror movies at all. She doesn't like zombie movies at all. She doesn't like any of that stuff. And I didn't really pick the show up until like halfway through the 3rd season of it. Okay. And these guys have been telling me, dude, you got to watch this. It's awesome. You got to watch it. And I'm like, man, my wife doesn't like horror shit. I said, trust me, she'll like it. I'm like, what? So
just make her.
what happened was I had a job at a manufacturing plant where I could watch movies at work. while I was just waiting for something to break overnight. Okay, so I had the ability to, between my rounds and stuff, I could watch flicks. And the first season of the show was only like 6 episodes. Hey guys, it was something like that. It was very short.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think they really knew if it was going to be big or not. At the time.
Even Fear the Walking Dead is 6 as well.
Yeah, every time they start these things off on AMC, they're only a few episodes.
Yep, 6 episodes.
Yeah, so I watched all 6 episodes over a weekend, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. And I said, I told my wife, I said, hey, look, I know you're not into horror stuff, but just watch the first episode of this show and see what you think, right? And when she heard Glenn on the radio telling him, hey, you, asshole in the tank, she said she was hooked, man. And I would have given up on the show a while ago, but she has watched every episode of everything they've ever done. And that, so far, it's 3 different shows, and they have, oh God, what was that called where they had the individual
Fear the
stories?
Walking Dead?
No. You got Fear the Walking Dead, which is the second major show. And then you've got The New World, which is like a limited mini-series with the kids going across country, right? Yeah. And there was another one that just came out earlier this year, but it was like short stories. It was like Creepshow, only each episode was one story.
Oh,
Tales of the Walking Dead, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And it was only like 4 episodes, I think. I'm not sure. I didn't even watch them. Rhonda did, but I didn't. I wasn't even interested in them. But
there's 6.
There's 6 episodes of it? Yeah. All I know is Terry Crews is in one of them. I freaked out when I saw that. Oh man, they're going to have that Hulk in there? And there she is, chiming in. Tales of the Walking Dead. Yeah, of course. Yeah. She's getting ready for a meeting, so she's got some time to watch on the phone.
I think it's funny that you look back at like the first season, and it looks like it's like made on VHS or something.
It does. It does. When you watch those older episodes and see the progression of the characters, man, what they look like. I mean, look at Carol back then. She looked like a skinhead.
She was, yeah, she was so beaten down.
She was, man.
Her transformation in that show was
unbelievable. She changed more than any character on that show.
That's why they're getting a spinoff.
Well, actually, no, she's not. She was supposed to. It was supposed to be the Carol and Daryl show, but she doesn't want to move to Paris and shoot over there.
Oh,
so it's just going to be Daryl Dixon by himself. And I'm still. Go ahead.
Carol's supposed to make an appearance, from what I hear.
I'm sure she will, but but like I said, she doesn't. Now. I'm getting all this from the girl that follows The Walking Dead religiously. She watches Talking Dead every week, and she tells me everything that's going on. And that's my wife. She's the one that clues me in on everything.
Well, you know what you do to fix that? You just add another 0.
Add another 0?
Add another 0.
Okay.
Yeah, on that paycheck.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Yeah,
that's how you fix that. I don't want to go there. You just add another 0.
So, Joe, basically what
this
you're
is
saying
true.
is that
give her some more money. Maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe she's just trying. Maybe she's just negotiating. Let's see. Lord Top says only watch.
As a non-horror fan, you can enjoy this,
right? Yes, you can.
Know.
Oh my God,
it's more
one of
than
the best
a drama
written
than
dramas
a
you will ever watch. Anima.
Yeah,
there comes a point where the zombies are just kind of like
they just
kind of exist.
It's basically a Western, young lady. It's a Western. That's what it is. It's good versus evil.
I mean, it's post-apocalyptic survivability, and then zombies just happen to be an extra factor in everything.
Yeah.
Just don't give Gary any ideas, please.
No problem. No problem.
He's
I'm not giving any ideas.
I was like, I don't watch animated stuff, because he was like, I want to introduce you to some series that I really like, and pulls up the first one, it's a comic, and I'm like, I'm not into animated stuff. And look at me now, heck, I love Archer, I love Bob's Burgers, Rick and Morty, hell yeah, give it to me.
Well, this is the deal. I don't watch animated stuff either. Anima, I don't. I don't watch it. Guys that me and Knock run with on the on the game on DC Universe Online have been telling me for years to watch DC's animated universe because it's awesome. And I've caught a few of the things. Like I think the last thing I got was Superman Unbound because it had Supergirl in it. And it's a Brainiac story, and it was really cool. But I don't know. I just like live action more than I do animated stuff. But I did watch one that was on Netflix earlier this year that was great, man. I think it's based on Apex Legends. Is that right?
Arcane is based on League of Legends.
Yeah, League of Legends. That's it. League of Legends. And man, that was a good show. And the animation was off the chain in it, man.
Watched Vox Machina on Amazon.
I watched that one. That one's hilarious.
They do a show.
So much fun, yeah.
They do a show on this weekly. That everybody else on the panel besides me, they do a show on it. Now.
Yeah,
you should watch it.
Yeah,
it's on Thursdays, I think.
Thursday nights.
Thursday.
Thursday, except the last Thursday of the month.
Yeah, Thursday night's football night.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I meant the show you do. Isn't it Thursday mornings you do the Vox Machina show?
Fantastic Thursday.
Oh, well, I'm working.
I think we have.
Yeah.
This
well,
week,
I'm saying you can watch it on a
next
replay.
Week we are going to wrap it up, I think.
Well, this week is the end of Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's 7 and 8 of 12 episodes of Vox Machina.
Yeah, so we have 4 for next week. I think that's okay for a 2-hour show.
Lord Toth says only watch the first few episodes of The Walking Dead because the comic was much better. Yeah, I've heard that from a few people.
I just can't. I can't get into comics though. I'm just not a comic guy at all. I can't.
That's why I started watching The Walking Dead in the first place. Was I read the comic books. I was a big fan of the comic books, and they said, "Oh, we got to check this out." So I stayed, but then I got a little annoyed in places where they would change the comic, and then I finally just fine. They're just gonna go their own way.
Yeah, it was obvious from the beginning it was going to be a little different. They're kind of using the comic books as an outline because the main story thread remains the same. I mean, they face they have guidelines. They have the farm. They have they go up against the governor. They live at the prison. I mean, it all follows like the comic books, but it definitely doesn't end like the comic books, I think, because of all the changes they made along the way.
The comics, the whole thing is supposed to be Old Man Carl.
Yeah.
And he's telling the story to his kids.
I can't remember which.
2 seasons ago.
I think it's 7 or 8, something like that.
No, something like
8
that.
was the war. He lived through the war.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
It's kind of hard to tell because there was
he died before the Whispers.
Was that 5 parts ago or was that 7 parts ago?
This poor guy. Yeah, Knock takes issue with the way they split these seasons in half, and he really didn't like the last one because they split it in 3
parts. Yeah, that's dumb.
Mm-hmm. That made him angry.
Yeah,
because he's one of the binging guys. He likes to binge it all at once.
Who doesn't?
You can't binge.
Me, I like watching it.
Episode.
I love watching it once a week, man. I think that's great.
No, I don't like it.
I'm with you, Joe. I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, there's
some shows I could do once a week, like anything Star Wars. I could do once a week.
Freddie Mercury said it best. I want it all, and I want it now.
I hear you.
Exactly, John. I'm with you.
But
and as for Star Wars, I'm done with that. I tried and it bored the shit out of me, so I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I was never really that much into Star Wars. They had some good stuff, but I'm done.
You should watch the review all of us did last week on Andor. It was pretty good. Andor's a good show. That one it really ended up being
shit
good.
Out of me. I really tried.
I know you told me that. It yeah.
Did you make it?
It's kind of a slow burn. Yes, it is.
Did you make it to where he's in the prison?
No.
That's go back to like 5-6 episodes.
No.
Yeah. If you make it,
I barely made it that far.
Knock was ready to give up on it. I mean,
I was really close. I stuck with it because I had to. But
the last episode I watched actually together with Gary, and I thought it would be better because he has all the background knowledge that I haven't because I haven't seen all of it. Mm-hmm. It felt like a chore. It was so hard to even get through the episode, and I was like, "Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah,
it's not working for me." I give every show at least 3 episodes.
The lucky thing about Andor, you didn't know you didn't know background for that show.
Yeah,
except for that the Empire existed.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Gary told me, and it really made no difference. having background info or not. It was just like, no, not for me.
Not for you.
Because it was an origin story, so that we were getting the background story.
I think it would have been even more boring knowing all the stuff that happened in the future. Like, yeah, he's going to die. So.
Yeah, that's all the stuff that happens in between.
Yeah.
It's the prequel all over again.
See, that's one of the drawbacks of the show. We know where this leads, right?
Yeah.
We've seen Rogue One. We know where it leads, but I
that's the thing, Joe. That's the thing. I don't, and still it's boring for me. So
I hear you. Hey,
I'm sorry. I tried. Hey, I tried.
Look. I had. You can ask Knock. He's gonna watch anything Star Wars. Okay, he's gonna watch it all. All right, and I cashed it in the first episode of Book of Boba Fett. I wasn't watching any more of that crap. I was like, what in the hell is this stupid shit? And then
you just got to figure out what episode Mandalorian comes in, and that's all you need to do.
Yeah, I did find that out, and I do need to go watch that episode. Yeah.
You have to watch this before the next season of Mandalorian comes out.
Right, I do know that. Yes. But I thought that alone was really stupid because they could have done a killer friggin' Boba Fett story if they'd have done it.
They could have.
But they screwed the pooch on it big time. Yes, it's Disney. Yeah.
I almost threw it away.
They could have made Obi-Wan make a good series.
I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch it.
Now,
I did.
Was good.
I watched Danny's breakdown.
It wasn't.
I disagree.
There was good parts of it. There was also very dumb parts of it. Just like the things with them coming up to a gate and like they have to open the gate rather than just drive.
I saw that. I was like, why didn't you just walk around this motherfucker, man?
Leia had little 2-foot nothing. Leia ran away twice and managed to get away both times. In her chase scenes, in her little tiny feet, and like people are just chasing after her and running into branches, and it's just like this is just silly. This is
alone.
Whatchamacallit, the Gungan from the first one. This is that kind of silly.
Yeah,
This is Jar Jar Binks that everyone hated kind of action.
Yeah,
it's just so unbelievable. But I still, one of my favorite scenes is when they bring in Vader and he's choking at a kid. I never thought I'd see the day where they would go that far with that. And he killed a kid with his horse choke. Like, that was mind-blowing to me. It actually showed his evilness, like how far he had fallen kind of deal. Like, that happened. And I refuse to forget that they showed that. So, we need more Vader.
We need less Vader.
No, we need more Vader.
No.
What do we need more? What do we need less Vader for? What's that going to do anybody? Less mysteriousness?
Well,
I want to see him more. I want to see him hunt down Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what he did.
That would not in the new canon.
They do. He hunts down Jedis.
Not in the new canon. The new canon is bullshit. Because he was the one who led the purge, but now it's not. Now you have these inquisitors. Don't. I don't want to go in there. But
somebody make popcorn. This is getting good.
The thing with Vader is they are misusing him, and Vader soon will be a frightening figure no more. The same way the Borg went.
Yeah, less is more, huh? Is that what you're trying to say? Less is more.
Less is more, and besides, if every time we're gonna see Vader, he's going to lose, dude. Then why?
Yeah,
Vader.
Like to see him win every once in a while. He is a bad dude.
That's powerful, invincible force, and now he always loses.
To Kenobi.
Well, let me tell you something, gentlemen. I didn't even watch it because a dude that's watching a kid in the desert don't need to be going anywhere. And when I heard he was leaving the planet, I was like, that don't make no damn sense. He's supposed to be watching Luke. What's he doing?
For the other kid, to be fair.
Anyway.
That wasn't his job description.
Well, let's bring it back to The Walking Dead. Now, the first season of it, like I said, was only 6 episodes long. And John, you read the comic books. How comic book accurate were those 6 episodes up to the CDC?
It was pretty close. It
Yeah.
wasn't, like there wasn't, the characters were there.
Mm-hmm.
They had the right characters acting properly.
By the way, Anima, all you need to know about this show, of course, other people have other opinions, but all you need to know about this show is you see the guy in the sheriff's hat right here that I'm hovering my mouse over?
Yep.
That's the only guy you need to care about, okay? The rest of them,
Daryl.
they're all wall fixtures, okay?
Handsome guy.
That's the man right there. That's the man.
Except for Coral.
Rick Grimes. Coral?
Coral?
Coral? You mean coral? That stuff that lives in the ocean?
You know, one of
those
the
rocks that live in the
funniest
ocean?
things I saw
Coral?
was that in that tank, the soldier that's dead right next to him,
Yeah,
was Sam Whitner. I never knew that. I learned
Really?
that much back.
No shit.
Yeah, that was Sam
Wow.
Whitner, and yeah, the dead zombie, that was him.
yeah.
I
So
couldn't
it's pretty
believe it.
comic book.
There's
Now, if I understand correctly, Daryl wasn't even a character in the book.
no,
No,
Daryl.
Merle, right?
Daryl wasn't in the comic. No, he was
And if
created
I
just for the
understand
show.
correctly,
It's
also
because of the fans.
he was supposed to die at the beginning of the second season, but people loved him
People-
so much after the first season they kept
No,
writing him in.
It's insane how popular.
No. I gotta tell you something. They did dirty my boy Tyrese.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tyrese was such a great character in the comics.
See, that's the problem. That was the problem with the series over the comic, because they kill people that shouldn't die,
Mm-hmm.
and people that die live, and it's like,
Yep.
and it completely changes the dynamic of the group.
Yeah.
So the
This-
group
this-
dynamic
this is an
in the
alternate
store,
universe.
yeah, that's what I started looking at. It's like, okay, this is alternate
That's like-
timeline, whatever.
that's the-
That's
What
like
if-
my stepson is a huge Halo fan, right?
Oh,
And he
man.
watched that series, and he was like, "Man, I'm just looking at this like it's fan fiction.
had
There's
to
so
do
much
it
wrong with
too.
this."
I had
Bad
to
fan,
too.
fan
Yeah.
fiction. Very bad.
That
fan
was
fiction.
so bad. Like half
Yeah.
the stories didn't make any sense.
I gave it 3 episodes. I didn't go any further.
Yeah,
I'm gonna actually keep with it, but I had to look at it as its own thing for sure. When you get past the point where like you don't worry about any of the source material, which
Yeah.
sucks. But
Well,
in order to
The
enjoy
whole
a show
bullshit-
like
I
that,
the
you
whole
have
watched
to-
bullshit
I-
around
I-
that character Kwan Ha made no sense. Why write her?
the-
Nobody needed
yeah,
her. No one. I got
Yeah.
so angry about that.
See, guys,
the
all
only-
I have to do is mention one thing, and these guys go off, and they're off in another world. They don't even care what I'm talking about. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish up what you're saying.
Well, I only haven't seen the last one, but I've been waiting for months, mustering strength.
To finish Halo?
Yeah.
I
My daughter, she told me from
It's
the
not important.
from the beginning, you're on your own. I cannot continue watching this.
You know, it took me 3 or 4 tries to get through Expanse.
Yeah.
That was one a
Expanse.
lot of people talked about. And
are you serious?
I liked it every once in a I liked it a little bit, but my all-time favorite sci-fi is always going to be Stargate. And after that ended, years ago, there was always a sci-fi void in my heart.
I do
that was-
remember that
Well,
about
like,
you.
you're
Stayed
so
glued to
emotional.
Sci-Fi.
that never
You were
got
on that
filled, and so
channel
there were
all the
some
time.
like Expanse that came about that were okay, but I've never been able to fill that sci-fi.
Did
itch,
you read the books?
I get you. I
but
get
no,
you.
I'm not going to read books like that. The only books I read are Stargate or Star Wars. Excuse me.
Star
Those are the only
Wars,
books I'm
yeah.
ever going to read. I even bought the. I don't know if you could.
Oh,
No, you
it's
can't
lost
see it
in the-
because of your
there's
background.
Robert Jordan, the Wheel of Time books. The
Yeah.
first couple.
Yeah.
Before the show came out, and I was like, I'm going to read those, and and then I just couldn't get into them. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just going to stick with my Star Wars books, but and then just watch shows just for the shows themselves. But
Yeah.
Expanse, it took me a lot of attempts to get in. I finally did. I finally binged through a bunch of it. I don't think I watched the last.
Never
season
seen
that
The
came out,
Expanse
but
myself. I hear it's
Oh,
great.
you have
it's
to.
just one of
I hear
those
it's
shows that
fantastic.
I try to get. I get a little bit further in every time I do watch it. I did watch it, but just
Now-
something else that got my attention.
Joe, if I may,
Go.
if you want to watch Expanse, I can only fully recommend the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
The one that Netflix made. The
Okay.
ones that the next 3, they're not bad, but they're boring in comparison.
Yeah.
That should be swapped. Sci-Fi did it first, and then Netflix took it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was Netflix
Sci-Fi first,
and then Amazon.
Sci-Fi first, then Amazon.
It was definitely Sci-Fi first.
Sci-Fi first. Yeah, I do remember being on
Sci-Fi Friday night, because that's what took with that, and what was it? Dark
Matter, and what was the Killjoys, the Bounty Hunter show.
Yeah, they had a whole lineup.
They did.
I'm willing to die on this hill, but I maintain that The Expanse is the best modern. While it was on, it was the best sci-fi on television. Period.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I'll die on that hill.
I can see it because there's not much on.
Yeah, there really isn't.
There really isn't much science fiction on.
The politics,
well, at that time, is what I'm saying. There wasn't that much.
The way the characters were written and the physics, there were real physics at last.
Yeah, it was hard science fiction for a change.
Yeah.
Hey, same on Stargate. They had astrophysicists working with them.
Yeah, but the ship has gravity. This one
on Stargate, whenever you see equations written down somewhere, that was done by a real astrophysicist. That's done by people who actually know that shit.
That's right, but
and that really impressed me.
Yeah, but they had a lot of stuff that's outside of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, they made a bunch of stuff up. So, but I love that show. It's always gonna be one. I never finished Universe though. I never finished watching Stargate.
Oh,
I dropped out.
How many different versions were there? You had the original Stargate,
7.
and you had Atlantis,
at least.
Yeah.
I dropped out of Universe, and this year I did a complete Stargate run, like starting with SG-1, then watching them back to back, SG-1 and Atlantis,
I've done that,
as you're supposed to. And then I started Universe, and I was like, okay, I'm dedicated. This time I'll watch it till the end. It's not bad. It's different. It's very different.
No,
and what about the movie? Did you watch the movie?
All the movies are great.
No, I didn't.
The original movie.
Arc of Truth, those are awesome.
I tried. I started and then I dropped.
Stargate movie.
Arc of Truth you have to do because it's a continuation of season 10. You have to watch that one. It's literally the culmination of it.
Joe,
Continuum is kind of its own story.
Sir,
it started with a movie.
Stargate. I know. It's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. I've just never watched the shows. I think Stargate, the movie, is one of the best movies ever made. Man.
It was originally supposed to be a trilogy that didn't pan out, so they turned it into a movie, or excuse me, a TV show.
Into a TV show. Yeah. Kurt Russell in Stargate and James Spader, that is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Leave it to the U.S. Air Force to start a revolution on another planet. Fucking awesome. That show is great, man.
I just got confused. I got so confused because I started watching Stargate when I was at boarding school because there was no TV at home. So until I moved out, I didn't get to watch much TV. But at boarding school, age 16, 17, there was a common room and a TV. And SG-1 was on Austrian TV. So I started watching that. And early in my 20s, I stumbled upon that movie. And it was just so confusing to see the same people played by different actors.
It's not the same Colonel O'Neill. It's not the same O'Neill.
It's spelled with 2 L's, not 1.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was too confusing for me. I couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
so I never tried again.
I never finished Universe because, and the best way I could describe it is when Bill Adama from one of the other favorite sci-fi shows, he had said Battlestar Galactica. He had said when he was talking to Laura Roslin, the president, he said, "I never finished this book because I never wanted it to end." And that's kind of how I always saw Stargate Universe is I never want to see the second episode. So that for me, it never ends.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. So that's
the ending isn't satisfying.
I always use that as my excuse.
Well, speaking of the second, I'm going to bring it back to The Walking Dead. The second.
Keep trying, Joe. Keep trying.
Joe.
Season 2 of The Walking Dead.
I'm going to keep trying, baby.
And then we're going to go off against
I got to go with what's advertised. You guys can take it wherever you want.
Oh my God.
I'm going to keep bringing it back to what I advertised it as.
Joe of all time.
Joe, you've got 3 members of Pop Culture Minefield. Of course, we're going to go on a tangent.
Of course you are. Hey, man, but like I said, you guys can tangent out all you want. I enjoy listening to it, but as soon as I check out, we're going back to what I was talking about. The second season of The Walking Dead, boys and girls. This is after the CDC, after Rick finds out what's really going on from the guy at the CDC, and he's holding that secret, right?
Yeah.
So in the second season, they've gone into the bunker.
No, second season.
Season one.
Second season,
they meet
their
Hershey.
base camp basically at the beginning of it is on the freeway. They've got all their vehicles trapped on the freeway. And if you remember, what's the little girl's name they lose in the first episode? What is her name? It's Carol's daughter.
Carol's daughter.
Yeah. Sophia. Sophia ends up disappearing. Her and Rick are together, and he has to distract the zombies to keep her alive, and she ends up disappearing. And so there's a long search for Sophia, and this is the season where we find out that not only can the father eat bullets like chiclets, but so can the kids. Carl gets shot for the first time, and
with a hunting rifle, no less.
Yes, with a high-powered rifle, and it's a guy hunting, and they're checking out a deer, and the guy shoots and kills the deer, and it goes right into Carl. He's sitting there right close to the deer, and we make our way to the farm of Herschel and his daughters and his friends that are held up there, and the barn, which is kind of a mystery most of the season. My favorite walker is in this one, the one they try and drag out of the well. I think that one was badass. That's one of the fun things about watching the show, Anima, is the different walkers, the special effects they do. When I was a kid, I used to collect Fangoria magazine and learned about makeup tricks and all this stuff. And there's a lot of now there's a few CGI effects in this show, but they're mostly to kill the zombies without actually hitting them. In other words, it's the gore effects are CGI'd for safety reasons, but the actual effects on the zombies are all makeup effects, and it's really cool. Greg Nicotero, who is a major force behind this series, directs a lot of episodes, and he does all of the makeup work. Him and his guys, they do fantastic work on this show. And that whole gag with the well walker was just brilliant, man. It was awesome. I loved it.
And the cool thing about this series is the people in the makeup, a lot of times they're stars.
A lot of stars have cameos on this show, and they're done up as walkers.
We started with Sam Whitner. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They all want to be zombies.
Yep. I'm wondering how, and you guys want to see me go off on a tangent? I'm wondering how many, if it had have been successful, how many guys would have done what Daniel Craig did in Star Wars and show up as a stormtrooper? You know what I mean? That would have been cool, hearing different people's voices as stormtroopers. But this season, the whole Shane thing comes to a head, and it was a pretty busy season, man. There was something good on every episode of it. They did a good job on this one. It culminated. Go ahead.
This is where you found out how evil Shane really was.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I wouldn't use the word evil.
I don't use evil either.
He shot a guy in the leg so he could get away and left him for zombie bait.
Right.
He sounds like a very.
He wanted to save Carl.
I understand he wanted to save Carl, but man, come on.
No, man, I'm in the situation. All of you are dead, but my kid comes first.
Remind me never to be at your house during the zombie apocalypse, my brother. I'm going to try and get you guys out. Okay?
I'm a big guy. I'm not outrunning anybody. I can shoot you in the leg and get away.
I'm not going to be eaten by any zombies. I'm too tiny. There's not much to me, so I'm fine.
Well, the thing about the zombies is...
Well, in reality, he could have shot it in the head.
Well, that's the thing about The Walking Dead. You don't have to get bit by a zombie to get turned into a zombie.
Yeah.
You just have to die.
You just have to die.
Everybody's already infected.
That's what Rick finds out at the CDC from the guy at the CDC, is that it's something airborne that everybody's infected with, and when they die, they're going to turn. Every last one of them is.
So
that's what he finds out.
Not die.
Yeah. You don't need to be dying in this world. And as the show goes on, you can tell who they care about, because as soon as they pass away, they put a knife in their head because they don't want them to make that turn. You know what I'm saying?
They don't have
and
to
when
kill
they
this
really
zombie.
don't like somebody, they're like, fuck them, let them turn. Don't worry about it. Fuck them.
We get to kill him again.
Yep, we get to kill them again down the road.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's
a fun show. But the thing about it is, it's a drama that's really good, because the guy Shane that they're talking about, Anima, what comes to ahead in this show is he really wants Rick out of the way because he's in love with his wife.
Yep.
And he's been fucking his wife ever since when this all happened. Rick was in the hospital and they all thought he was dead.
Yeah, Rick was
and
in
left
a coma.
Him there. And he's linked back up with his wife and his kid, and Shane, his best friend, who was a friend of his in the sheriff's department of the town they're from. Yeah, he was his deputy. And see, look, she's already listening. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a drama that is just fun. Yeah. It is it's
not a show about zombies. It's a
show about people and what they would do.
And there are zombies.
Yeah, and there are zombies in it. Yeah. And
there was a little bun in that oven too.
Yes, there was. Yeah, that's another thing.
Who's
Shane knows she's pregnant, and Rick doesn't. You know, and yeah, man, it's a great show. It really is. But it culminates with, we find out that the guy that saved Carl's life, Herschel, he thinks this is all an illness that can be cured, and he's saving all his loved ones in the barn. The barn is full of people that he knows. They're all zombies. They're all dead. And he's got one of them was his wife, and they're all locked up in there. And Rick tries to Rick's a stand-up guy at the beginning of this show, and he slowly becomes a guy more like Shane. He never totally goes full 100% Shane, but he does become ruthless. Would you agree, gentlemen?
Yeah, he's forced to.
Yeah, but
I would say he kind of goes all the way to becoming Shane, especially when they go after Negan's folks. They went after them in their sleep. I think Shane would do that.
Yeah, he would
do that all the way.
He would, but yeah, Shane wouldn't stop though. But anyway, so this one culminated the mid-season. This is how you know they had a great show. The mid-season finale was almost as big as the finale for that season. You know, because they had half a season going up to the Christmas holidays, and then they would go on hiatus till about
March,
Valentine's Day. Yeah,
April,
around there.
Yeah, February, March,
mid-February. And then they'd finish it up before the summer, right? And this one's mid-season finale was when Shane said fuck it and let them all out of the barn and started shooting them up. And they had the big thing where they killed all the zombies inside the barn. And Sophia turned out being one of them, the girl they've been looking for half the damn season. She was in there, and it broke Carol, no doubt. That's the thing that sent her on the path that we know she goes on, right? Was when that
Can
kid
you
died.
remind me what happened to Carol's husband?
Who
actually did the deed? Was it a zombie?
It was a zombie killed him. Yeah, he got eaten.
Was it a zombie? I thought.
For some reason, I'm thinking like Shane or something did it, or Ricky.
Who was it? Didn't Carl kill somebody?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
I thought okay. I thought
No, I'm
that
pretty
was.
sure-
I was just trying to remember because that was part of
Yeah,
Carol's
what
stuff,
zombies?
too.
When the zombies
Mhm.
attacked the campment, and the sister of that other girl died, and the zombies killed like 6 people. And
Yeah, they came into the camp.
And one of the victims, he
was one of them. Yeah,
he had a premonition, and he was preemptively digging the graves and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, he was a scumbag though. I mean, he beat.
Yeah, he was.
He beat up on Carol, and everybody
He was
wanted
a total
to die.
dick.
He died.
He died. He was killed by a zombie, but during when the camp got invaded by zombies, same time that oh god, that blonde chick that I could not stand, the one that Dale kept the weapons from, that half of the season here
Lori?
on the farm.
No, Lori is the wife.
Lori's the wife.
Yeah.
I can't remember the blonde's name, but she was a pain in the ass.
Well, the blonde didn't. No, she died. She died.
What I'm saying is her sister died.
Died on the attack.
Yeah.
And that's why she wanted to off herself, because her sister was gone, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, this culminates with the death of Shane and the farm being overrun, and they've got to hit the road, right? For the first time, second time in the show. They had a camp where they moved to the CDC, and then once they were set up here for a while, it's time to move on, right? And they get split up for I would say this is the first time they got split up. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, first time
when they're leaving that place.
No, it's the second time.
What's
the first time was when Mare and the others were in the city when they.
But I don't really consider that a split up. It's more like, they went on a mission kind of thing. They were on a run kind of. This was actually, they were fleeing for their lives, and they all ended up scattering, and not knowing where each other were.
When the barn got set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then they're on the road, and they find the prison. And they decide to move into that, and that's into season 3. And we end up having another home for a little while.
Andrea,
that is her name. I can't stand that woman to this day.
This is also when we meet.
In the comics, she was involved with Dale.
She was involved with Dale. Okay,
Dale had a thing till Dale died, and she eventually hooks up with Rick.
Wow. Ugh, glad I didn't see that out of these characters.
The characters were very, very different.
Yeah.
She wasn't annoying like she was in the show.
Really?
Huh. Where,
okay.
Michonne comes in too. Andrea finds her.
That's when they end up at the governor's place. That's during season 2.
My favorite character in The Walking Dead. She shows up like a badass with her brother and her husband as zombies with their jaws removed on chains.
I was surprised that more people didn't do that kind of stuff. Why is she the only one that ever figured that out?
It was brilliant.
Claw them, and then they're they're docile.
Yep.
But Anima, this little tag they have above this title, this is all you need to know about this entire universe. Fight the dead, fear the living. They're the real enemy. The living is the enemy. I mean, you fight the dead. We know how to kill the dead.
You find out that humanity is really the monster.
Humanity's really the bad guys in this show.
A lot of times, humanity uses the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. Oh my gosh, Lord Almighty. Yeah, you had the governor. He was digging holes in the ground to trap them so he could use them against people and shit. Yeah,
sport.
Yeah, craziness, man. But yeah, this is when a lot of people's favorite bad guy showed up. The governor, he ended up showing up in this season, and we were introduced to him when Andrea and Michonne, the samurai as I like to call her. My wife has. We have so many T-shirts, but we both have sweats that say "Fight the dead, fear the living" on them, right? And she's got a ton of T-shirts, most of them Daryl Dixon T-shirts, okay? But she's got one that says, it's got a picture of Rick. I think it's the same thing that the people at Terminus called them when they were putting them in the car. It's calls Daryl the Archer, her the Samurai, Rick, I think it was called the Sheriff, and the kid was Carl, right? Yeah. It has like their horizontal pictures of each one of them, and it's got it written on each one of them. little thing there. It's a pretty cool T-shirt.
Cool.
Go ahead, sir. What?
I just said cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My wife's got more stuff than you can shake a stick at. Well, she's got an entire wall over here. I'll show you guys here in a minute. An entire wall that's an ode to the Walking Dead series. You know, it's all the people
she's serious about that.
all the people that she's gotten signatures from. All the actors. She's got Michael Rooker over there, the guy that played Otis. The first one she got was the two twins that John's talking about. The two guys that played those, the actors that played those, the twins that Michonne had with no jaws and no arms, right?
Yeah.
That's the first one she got. She met those kids at a Comic-Con and got her. I mean, there's tons of them up here, but her favorite one's Daryl, of course.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite one she's got is the guy that has my favorite part of The Walking Dead ever, and that's the preacher.
Ezekiel.
Father Gabriel.
Gabriel,
Father
yeah. Never mind, not Ezekiel. I don't know what.
But yeah.
Starship Trooper.
Yeah.
Zeke.
But yeah.
No sugar.
The prison, when they get into prison, they have to clear some of it out. Yeah. And then they find out that there's some people alive in there. And that was very short-lived. They whacked them pretty damn quick. A couple of them hung out for a little bit, but they ended up getting whacked.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing comes to a head because the governor wants the prison. He wants to put his people in the prison. He hadn't thought of that shit. He thinks that's pretty cool, man. He wants that prison. Of course, you know, the governor's a crazy motherfucker.
Comes rolling up in a tank.
You know, man. Rolls up in a tank. He's ready to blow that place up.
The governor from the series is a Care Bear compared with the freaking wacko of the comic.
Really?
Yeah.
Governor in the comic is freaking insane.
Really? Wow. Well, I thought this guy was pretty insane. I mean, he's holding people's heads in water and shit. It's freaking crazy. That nutbag. But what was your favorite part of this season of The Walking Dead, guys?
I already told you mine is the arrival of Michonne.
Yeah. Michonne's pretty cool. They didn't trust her right away.
No.
But she proved herself along the way.
You saw a big part of this season also was Merle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Merle ended up being a right-hand man to the governor, right? Yeah.
Without a right hand, right?
Without a right hand. Because we know Rick left him on that rooftop handcuffed. He had to freaking cut off his own hand to get out of there.
Yeah. He became the governor's guy.
But they repelled him the first time around. They got him out of there. And the governor kind of flipped out there when they didn't accomplish what they set out to do, didn't he?
Yeah.
He whacked a whole lot of people, man. He was upset.
The Herschel thing that was
took Herschel's head.
Nah, that's when he goes back.
That's the second time. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time they repelled him,
over the prison.
They kept him out the first time. Yeah. But yeah, the second time around, that happens in season 4. And season 4.
Was it the governor that started poisoning them? Because they started getting sick in the first one.
No, it wasn't the governor. Actually, guys, this was kind of a thing like COVID. And they actually, I rewatched these all the time because my wife loves watching them from beginning to end. She just puts them on a loop. And it was a coronavirus that they got sick from. And Herschel describes it. He says, look, you know, until we build up an antibody to it, we're going to lose some people. You know, we've just got to hold out and try and get some medicine to try and treat this. That's about the best we can do. And he said it. All you can do is treat it. And he explained what was killing them. That basically, you know, their lungs were getting inflamed, and basically they were, you know, their throats were getting corked and basically erupted, you know. So yeah, it was pretty nasty. That's how this season started. That you had the virus that was running through the camp, and everybody was dying. Of course, we had the subplot of what's my man's name? Sasha's brother,
Tyrese. Oh
Tyrese.
my God.
That's it, Tyrese. Yes.
Excuse me.
His girlfriend was burned up along with somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And he was pretty miffed about it, wanted to know who did it. Plus, we had somebody feeding the zombies with rats at the friggin' walls. They couldn't figure out who was doing that. We found out later who was doing that. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. We had a few mysteries going on this season. But it all came to a head when the governor found a new bunch of people to hang out with. And it turned out that one of his old running buddies was with this group. It was a group. They were in Winnebagos and whatnot. And actually, the governor at first was didn't he meet that girl in an apartment complex?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to go legit.
He wanted to be normal, but once somebody died, he was like, man, I can't do this. Gotta, hey, what's up, Jeebus? How you doing? It's good to see you, man.
Hey, Jeebus.
Anyway, yeah, we had a lot of mysteries going on, and he built a new group, and he went back after that prison because they were really in the wide open. This new group of his was in Winnebagos and didn't have walls, and he was now with a lady that had a kid, right? And,
yeah.
And he felt the prison was the only way. He just, that train keep running over him. He's got to get to prison, right?
One of my favorite scenes, sorry to cut you off, but one of my favorite scenes, because you showed the picture here and it reminded me of Carol. One of my favorite things of hers was her teaching the kids how to use knives.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That happened during the virus part. We found out she was teaching the kids. It was supposed to be a teaching thing, and they were supposed to be learning something, and it was
like math,
story time or something like that. It was under the guise of something really lame, and she was actually teaching them how to defend themselves against walkers with knives and shit. Yeah, that's when you saw Carol's character had changed. She was all about keeping her people safe. Now she lost too many people, so she was starting to become that person, but yeah, it came to a head. Governor kidnaps Michonne and Herschel when they're out on a run and outside the gates, and Rick is ready to let him in because he's got guns on him. They're going to kill him, and he's like, we can live together. Blah blah blah. He's saying whatever he's got to try and appease this dude, and doesn't work, and he decapitates Herschel. And it's on like Donkey Kong then. Yeah. So we have the big fight. Michonne takes out the governor, which is exactly how that should have happened. If you remember what happened in the season before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they lose the prison. They have to scatter again. And this time they don't get back together so quickly this time. They're on the road for a while.
A big difference between the comic and the show is Judith dies at the prison.
Really?
And they go to split.
I forgot about that part, guys. Yeah.
Lori
gives birth to Judith. And Lori dies in childbirth. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Guys,
go ahead. Yeah.
I've got to go.
Okay. Well, take care. And hopefully we haven't spoiled this too much for you. Because you need to watch this.
No, don't worry. I'm not going to remember any of this.
Good.
It's almost 2 a.m. I'm pretty sure I won't.
All right, Anima. You take care of yourself. Thanks for coming, darling.
Bye,
take
Anima.
care.
Night.
Bye. Yeah, she's great. I dig her. Let's see. What is Krampus saying? She got shot in half?
In the comic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Judith did? Wow.
A shotgun shot goes through Lori and the baby.
Wow.
One shot kills them both.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Oh wow. That's fucked up. Yeah, that's those comic books. I want to read them. Yeah, there you go. Oh wow. Oh man, I'm so jealous of that thing. I got to get one of those. But yeah, this was a good season, man. And at the end of it, they are scattered again. They're on the road, and they are seeing signs along the sides of the road that are telling them to go to a place called Terminus, right?
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure. Now, you know what? Somebody check it out for me real quick. We'll check and see, but I think they may have. Well, let's cover some ground here before we even get into this season. I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, they may the fight at the prison might have happened halfway through that third season, or no, the fourth season. What season are we on right here?
We're on 5.
This is 5.
Right before the end of the
right.
season.
I was fixing to say they were on the road half of this season, right? I think the second fight with the governor is in season 4, like it was the mid-season finale, I think. And they're on the road the other half of the season in season 4.
As I remember, and I may be awfully wrong, but as I remember, the 5th season was almost in its entirety. Everyone was scattered, and they were on groups of 2 or 3.
Well, let's take a look. We'll find out real quick. Hang on. Let me get it off of this.
Like the last 5 episodes is Terminus, and then the beginning of the next season is them getting out of it.
Yeah,
so
I think
they're all trying to get to Terminus in the second half of this 5th season, aren't they?
Something else I forgot to mention. Last season, Rick got broke.
Yeah, he did.
When Lori died, it broke him.
That was the first time that he lost his mind. Wasn't all there. Yeah,
talking to the telephone.
That was the Coral.
Yeah,
Coral. He was. Remember, he had the phone. He was always listening to Shane on the phone.
Yep. Yeah. The prison was like almost a full season and a half. They were in that prison. But yeah, that's what went on there, and they were all split up, and they were following. All of them were following the way to Terminus. That's right, because Glenn was looking for Maggie.
Yeah,
that entire half a season, and they all ended up at Terminus at the same time, and. Actually, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the last episode of season 5 was whenever Rick got put in the train car.
No,
yeah,
season 4.
They had arrived, and season 4. That's it. Yeah, and the first episode of season 5 is actually my wife's favorite episode.
Well, look what Jeebus says about the comics.
Okay. Let's see. He says, first of all, he says Daryl, Merle, and Black Guy weren't in the comics. Which Black guy? There's been a couple of Black guys.
Tyrese was in the comics.
Yeah, Tyrese was in the comic. Yeah. I think.
He's probably talking about the first guy. What was his name?
Tyrone?
Something Dog.
Oh.
I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
That's probably who's talking.
Oh, the one who saves Rick in the city.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Jeebus says, I stopped buying The Walking Dead because it got too depressing. Yeah, a lot of people quit watching the show because there was no hope in it. I know my daughter checked out of it because of it. She was like, yeah, these people don't have any hope. What the hell? But, yeah, they're all... Glenn was looking for Maggie. I think Rick and Michonne were together with Carl. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's where they
Daryl
started developing feelings
and Maggie's
for each other.
sister were together, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, didn't he get her drunk at a country club or some shit like that?
Oh, it was a house. Yeah,
it was a house. That's right. Yeah. But anyway, they all converged on Terminus eventually, and one of the best episodes was when Glenn finally found Maggie. That was pretty cool in the train tunnel when he was trying to help out Homegirl that ended up being with him. Yeah, that was pretty good. But they end up all at Terminus, and the opening of this season, we find out that the guys at Terminus that are telling everybody to come, their sanctuary for everybody, are fucking cannibals, and they're killing all these people when they show up and eating them.
The title of the first episode is No Sanctuary.
No Sanctuary. That's it. That's my wife's favorite episode. She calls it the Carol Bow instead of Rambo. She calls it Carol Bow. Yeah, because
when Carol goes full badass.
Yeah, she goes full on badass with the friggin' guts on her and everything. Yeah, pretty damn awesome stuff. The Terminus guys don't last long. They really don't. Once those walls are down, it's over, man. And what I thought was funny was I remember at this point we're watching Talking Dead all the time. After we're staying up late. Look, you don't call my wife between 8 o'clock Central and 10 o'clock Central on a Sunday night because she's going to watch both of them. You know what I mean? Let's see. Krampus says, you deal with cannibals on a farm in the Walking Dead game. Wow, cool.
I played a little bit of, not played it, but I watched a little bit of the Walking Dead games, and they're very dramatic. For sure.
Are they?
Yeah, they have some good story. The last one I watched was, I think, the last one.
Yeah,
the final season. Yeah,
final season. Yeah,
I think there's one in VR.
They have a good storyline. It's animated. It's a Telltale game. It's like one of the last ones they did.
I've only played the first one with Clementine, so
never played any of them.
That's the only one I know of.
Not into the zombie games. I never really have enjoyed those. But then again, most of them are first-person shooters too, and I'm like,
well,
no.
This is
It's
nothing like this is Telltale game. I don't know if you played any of the Telltale games, but this is pure. You have certain paths you can take, but it's all story driven.
Yeah,
it's literally you press A to do this choice, B to do this choice, with the occasional movement of your sticks. But
that sounds like my speed. You know, I like those games.
It's legit.
Kind of games.
It's legit.
Yeah.
And one of the first things you do, like one of the first that captures you in the first episode, is when you're just sitting there in the back of a cop car.
Oh wow!
And then shit just hits the fan.
Well,
so it's worthy of the name Walking Dead for sure.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out then. But yeah, this first episode is a great season opener. I think it's probably the best season opener out of any of them. And it's man, what I thought was funny, and the reason why I brought up the fact that we watched all this stuff at that time was there was the guy that plays the Penguin on Gotham was actually the blonde kid who is the first one to get his throat cut when they're sitting there killing those guys, you know, and bleeding them out right before Carol blows the propane tank. He was in the middle of filming Gotham, and they flew him out to Atlanta just for shooting that scene, you know. And if you recognized him, he was actually in the same episode where they I think it's the one where they're on a run and they run into a couple of people and the girl ends up getting killed, I think. But that guy, it's him. The guy, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was on the show Gotham and played the Penguin.
Wasn't like Robin Taylor or something like that?
Don't know his name, but I just remember that was a neat little piece of trivia, you know, that because if you rewatch that episode, watch it because he looks right at Rick right before they slit his throat. You know, like, oh my God, how are we gonna get out of here?
Robin Lord Taylor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I just thought it was neat that they flew him out just for that to, you know, bring in, have him with a cameo from a previous episode. You know what I mean? I thought that was pretty neat. But
guys,
yes,
I'm gonna leave because I have to feed my pets. I'll try to get back. In the meanwhile, I'll be lurking.
All right, buddy. You take care. Right. It's good to see you, Martin. Take care, man. Guys. Thank you for coming.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hopefully see you back in a minute.
So they end up on the road again, but they're all together.
Nobody was off.
Judith is reunited with her dad, right? And everybody gets back together. And one thing we didn't mention, Carol had been exiled for killing Tyrese's girlfriend.
Yep.
And another thing that happened on the road was the famous flowers. Just look at the flowers episode where we actually, I thought that one was great because they actually showed that, hey, you can tell if somebody's going to be a serial killer when they're young.
A little psychopath.
Turns out that she was the one feeding the rats to the zombies. She thought it was just a transformation. She thought they were fine. You know, she was crazy. That girl was crazy, and she ended up killing her own sister. And to save Judith, Carol had to take her for a walk and put her down. It was a sad episode. It really was, man. But
look at the flowers, bang.
Yeah, just look at the flowers, right? Yeah. So all that had happened, and also Tyrese had found out that Carol was the one that killed his girlfriend, and Tyrese was okay with it. He really was fine with it. Too much had happened in between. So yeah, and they're on the road and actually live through a tornado and all kinds of shit when there's an openly gay character who's recruiting for a community that shows up just as we're hitting the mid-season point in this one.
Alexandria.
And he's from Alexandria. I think, was his name Andrew? Is that his name?
Aaron.
I knew it started with an A. He's the guy that finds him and leads him to Alexandria.
No. I thought, yeah.
Well, before we do that, you got to do the because that's the hospital where.
That's right.
It's Jesus that finds him.
Jesus is not so way later.
No. That's way later.
That's way later.
Aaron's the one that.
Aaron's the one. Yeah, the one that.
He recruits him to Alexandria. But yes, you're right.
That's later on in the season.
Beth is in Atlanta. That's the side story in this one. Is that Beth is in Atlanta, and she's staying with the cops in Atlanta, in the city.
Yeah.
And not by accident either. These pieces of shit are going around grabbing people and basically running them down with cars and then building them back to health so they can make them their slaves. It's ridiculous. This whole storyline pissed me off so bad. It was not even funny. It really, really did. But now I can't.
Preacher guy in the
I can't remember. No. Yeah, that's right. They do pick up. They do pick up Father Gabriel along the way too, don't they?
Second episode of the season. They pick him
Yep. And Father Gabriel was not a likable person when we first met him.
No, he was
a very timid, scared, secret-keeping fool because we found out that he had basically killed his entire flock because he wouldn't let them in the church because he was scared. He left them locked out. I think it was Carl that found something carved in the house that said, "You'll burn for this."
Yeah.
In the wood outside the house, or excuse me, outside the church. I love that one of the episodes was called "Four Walls and a Roof," because he had said, "My God, this is a church," you know, and I think it was Sasha looked at him and said, "No, this is four walls and a roof."
Walls and a roof.
Yeah, that was the name of the episode. And that was the episode where, let's see, Bob, who is a character we have not talked about, Sasha's love interest, kind of. I don't think they ever consummated anything, but they definitely cared about each other. And
I don't remember Bob. I don't remember Gareth.
Bob was a drunk, and Bob. I tell you, you guys that love the comic books, I'd love to hear your take on this because our old buddy that has now passed away, Harry Simon, he hated the episode where they were eating Bob's leg and he said tainted meat. He hated that. He said that he thought that was one of the worst interpretations of what happened in the comic book he'd ever seen. You know, he thought it was a much bigger moment in the comic book than it was in the TV show.
Honestly, I don't remember it in the comic. So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that I thought was funny as fuck. But anyway, the termites because of Bob, find out that this bunch that fucked up their old home is staying in the church. And they decide to show up and get them. And Rick, of course, has a plan for this. And Rick is true to his word, because if you remember, he was asking him what was in the bag whenever they were going to bleed them out, right? When they were cutting throats and bleeding them out. And he'd come in asking for their shot counts and stuff. And he asked him about the bag. And he said, yeah, it's got this and that. And it's got a red-handled machete that I'm going to kill you with. And he was true to his word. He sure as hell hacked the fuck out of, what's his name there? The leader of the termites, I like to call him.
Yeah.
So the cannibals didn't last long in this world. But so from there, that's when they end up running into Aaron. And they're on the road. And at this point, they've actually met Abraham and
Rosita
Eugene at this
Eugene.
point.
Yep.
Yes, they have met them during their road experience. They were with them at Terminus at this point, and they're wanting to get Eugene to Washington. Damn it! Because Eugene can save us all.
Save us all. Yeah.
Eugene's a scientist. He's got the cure.
Scientist with a he's a scientist with a mullet. Yes, he's a Southern scientist. I love Eugene's character is awesome. The way he talks is just so funny. What's funny is I understand everything he's saying, but there's some people that would not understand a word he's saying. You know what I mean? He speaks in nothing but geek culture stuff, references. You know what I mean? Video games and stuff like that. And they want to do that, and they take care of the termites first, then they're going to go head that way. And they run into some stuff, bad weather being one thing. A tornado damn near kills them. They spend a night in a barn, and that's where Aaron finds them. And they don't trust Aaron, of course, as far as they can throw him. But Aaron comes in peace. He's got pictures of the place that he comes from and everything. This is the first legitimate person that's actually given an olive branch to him. Let's see. Krampus says, Telltale games are the best Walking Dead because you make choices and people live or die based on them. Yeah.
I think in the first one, you actually see Glenn. You cross paths with Glenn.
Really? Cool. He also says choices you make determine how others react to you later.
Yeah, there's a bunch of so-and-so will remember this and based on your decisions. So either later their actions will be determined on what you do then and later. So
I'll be right back.
All right, Bubba. So we I think at the mid-season point they've made it to Alexandria. I'm pretty sure. And
no, that's more near the end of the season because halfway through their season 8 is Beth or episode 8.
Yeah.
The 9.
No, they're at Alexandria when they go get back and get Beth. They're at Alexandria already. Yeah. I'm pretty sure halfway through the season they get to Alexandria because I know for a fact that
it doesn't say until episode 11. Recover from a devastating storm. Rick and group find themselves mistrustful of a new survivor who promised them safeties.
And that's halfway through the season.
That's episode 11. It's a little bit past halfway.
Okay. All right. I know what the final episode of this season, though. I know what it is when Morgan shows up, when they have the meeting, when they have the meeting in Alexandria. Mm-hmm. That's how this season ends. I'll never forget that one because that's when they get to Alexandria and they meet Diana. And Diana is a politician from the old world that is trying to start civilization up again. And they're in a neighborhood that was built for something like this. It's self-contained. It can they can create their own electricity and all that good stuff. And they have a subplot of Rick is kind of intrigued by the blonde. I can't remember the girl's name, I don't remember her name. Look that up for me, Knock, if you can think about it and remember what that chick's name is. But she's got two sons. One of them is a teen. Well, both of them are teenagers, but one of them's an older teenager, about Carl's age. And you got the subplot of the two teenagers vying for the one girl, right?
Enid.
Right, Enid.
Yeah.
And then you've got Diana finding jobs for all of them, and she makes Rick and Michonne
Glenn has
the cops.
His brush with death.
Glenn, it has a subplot where he's, oh my god,
the world's largest bait and switch.
Yeah. Well, did that happen in this season though?
Yeah,
it did.
Just having you see him underneath the van.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
Because they stopped. They didn't show him for like 2 episodes, and everyone's like, "What the hell happened to Glenn?"
Yeah, I don't think we saw him again until the next season. I think they left it all season long.
Van,
yeah,
like a couple episodes later, and it was like, "Oh, okay, he's alive."
But anyway, the way this one culminated was Rick was telling him, "Hey, look, well, actually, I think the way this one ended was the big fight between." No, I know exactly where it ended. Just where I said he has the fight with the blonde husband, who is a wife beater, right? He has the fight with him, and then they have the town meeting, and Rick actually finds some zombies inside the walls and has to take care of them, and he's late to the meeting, And one of the best quotes of this whole fucking show is Abraham saying that Rick Grimes knows every fine grain of said shit about, there's all kinds of shit going on in the world outside these walls, and Rick knows every fine grain of said shit. It's what it's exact quote. And I was like, oh my God, Abraham's my boy. I love him. But the way it ends is the fucking pissed off husband grabs Michonne's sword and puts it through Diana's husband by accident, trying to kill Rick.
Yeah.
And whenever that happens, Diana flips. She just, all she has to do is say, Rick, and sure enough, he turns around, kills that motherfucker, and then he hears his name, and it's Morgan, who's been following him since they were going to Terminus. We didn't know who it was, but we found out, I think, in the episode where they left Terminus. At the end of that.
Did you talk about how they met Morgan?
Huh? No, I haven't even talked about that yet. I mean, that's in the first episode of it. We didn't even, and he ran into him along the way too. For those of you that don't know, Morgan is the guy that actually saved Rip Grimes. He was probably going to get killed by zombies, not knowing what the hell was going on, and he takes him into his house and saves him, and he goes with Rick to get some guns and stuff, and they both he gives Morgan a radio because Morgan's not ready to leave yet. I think he hadn't killed his wife yet, right? And she was still walking around out there.
Yeah,
he wanted to kill her, and
he loses.
So he said he would call him every day at sundown, right?
Yeah,
and let him know where he was. And he had actually ended. I think it was season 3 when they were at the prison doing runs and stuff. I think he actually ran into the town where there was a bunch of zombies getting stuck on these obstacles that were set up and stuff. And the Clear episode where they found Morgan, and he had lost his mind because his son was gone. And
he lost
had a
his
huge
son
weapons cache, right? Yeah.
He was in that apartment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was in the 3rd season. But anyway, Morgan has been a character through most of this. And but we didn't see him again all the time until the next season, in season 6. That's when but that's how this season wrapped up, with Rick and his bunch are actually going to be Diana's right-hand men in Alexandria, basically. And Morgan sees Rick straight up murder a guy right in front of him, and he's like, what in the hell has happened to you, right? Because Morgan, we find out in season, let's see, which one are we on? That was 5, right? So we're on 6 now.
Yeah.
We find out that Morgan actually, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think it's one of the best episodes The Walking Dead ever did. Was the one where we find out where Morgan got his mantra that all life is precious. That show was fantastic. I loved that one, where he learned how to use a staff and everything. I mean, he was still in his "I got to clear" stage, right? I got to, make sure everything's clear, So, and
that's when he learns to do that dope monk shit.
He runs into the psychiatrist that's living in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and he's got a goat, and he teaches him how to use a staff, and teaches him all life's precious, and tells him the story about the serial killer that killed his family, right? And how he starved the guy to fucking death in that cage that he put Morgan in the first time he met him. That was a great episode. Loved it. Loved that episode. I thought it was fantastic. But yeah, and this one, I think this one opens when they're trying to take care of a huge fucking horde that's in a quarry. I think it is. Isn't that how the sixth season started? And
well, they had them blocked in.
This takes like half the season because they have to get back to there, and this is where we find out about the wolves. They're a faction that's outside the walls, and they're setting up booby traps to catch people in and stuff. And get the feeling they might be cannibals, but they're more like foragers. Really, they just want to take your stuff. They just want to kill you and take your stuff is what they want to do. But they carve W's in everybody's head.
Yeah.
They're called the Wolves. We find out about them. But the first half of this season, the first half of this season, really, the damn thing is pretty much about them trying to take care of that horde and leading them away and all this stuff. And they get split up, and a lot of, I think this is where we first meet Dwight as well. One of the episodes we meet Dwight and his girlfriend and his girlfriend's sister, who is diabetic, I think, and they were looking for insulin for her, right? Do you remember that episode where they steal his bike?
This season I didn't watch when it came out. I actually stopped back in season 5.
Yeah,
was when I really because the thing that bothered me in that one, this was before Deanna's husband died. I think I mentioned this before, but there was the scene that what was getting annoying to me was
Noah.
Right. They had Noah, and they had that scene where they had Noah and that little kid and he was showing him his book with his plans for architecture for the wall and expansion and everything. So it was a cool episode where he was showing this is the possibilities of this place. And whether it was the plan all along or not, they killed both of them off. And
they did.
It always bothered me because it was why the fuck did we have that scene anyways then?
Yep.
What was the point of that? Why there started to become more things like filler character development that led to nothing because they died anyways.
Yeah.
That's what killed the show for me.
Yeah.
There was too much of that. It's stop showing me these moments with characters that aren't even going to be there. Especially that particular episode, the kid died, and then at the end of near the end of the season, Noah died. So
sounds like you wouldn't have liked the comic book at all, then.
Probably not. Probably not. So that really killed it for me. So I don't think I watched it for quite a few seasons.
Yeah.
And so I got back into the show, and then.
Yeah. In 6
came in, and
then at the beginning, that we at the beginning of this season, it's all about trying to get rid of that horde, and they get split up, but not in the sense that they're getting scattered away from Alexandria. They're trying to get back to Alexandria, and they're all scattered in different places. And this takes several episodes to get back there. And along the way, we find out that Glenn is alive. He was actually underneath a dumpster.
Yep. There's a hole in the dumpster, and he crawled up in it.
Right, and he made it through. And
biggest bait and switch ever.
Yes, absolutely. because it sure looked like he was getting eaten to death at the end of that one episode. And they did that with Glenn a few times in this show, and I was just like, wow, man, why are they doing this? Of course, I have not read the comic book, but I knew all about the Negan thing beforehand, and I knew it was coming. I knew what happened to him. And so I was watching this go. Of course, I didn't say it to my wife. I didn't tell her that. But yeah, she was just so upset about Glenn, man.
This is where they made. This is the season where they meet Jesus, because he's from Hilltop, and he invites him to trade.
Well, that's later on.
No,
we haven't even got my favorite episode of the fucking Walking Dead is in this season right here.
Okay,
this one right here.
Well, we're in season 6, right?
Yep, season 6.
Right, Jesus is a little later on in the season.
Yeah, Jesus is near the end. Matter of fact,
Joe wants to go in snail's pace through all these seasons, so we'll never go.
Oh, well, we're going to end up doing 2 shows on this because we've got about 15 minutes
because I'm about to be done.
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes left tonight. But I do want to talk about my favorite episode of The Walking Dead, and that is one called No Way Out. And I can't remember the number of the episode, but it was the second half of the season premiere. You know how they went on hiatus.
Yeah,
and the way this one ended was they all had guts on them, and Diana was dead. The place has been overrun because the wolves ran a truck into the place, right?
It wasn't the wolves, it was the saviors they had run into.
That's right, it was the saviors. And we actually see the saviors for the first time at the end of the episode, in a post-credit scene, as a matter of fact, and it opens with that same scene. There's so much in No Way Out, and I'm just gonna do a Reader's Digest version of it. It opens with a bunch of bikers calling themselves Negan. And Daryl takes him out with an RPG, right?
Yep.
Then you've got Rick and the blonde and her 2 kids, and Carl with guts all over him, trying to make it through the zombie horde that's been let loose in Alexandria. And they're trying to get to the armory, and they decide to do something different, and they give Judith now Father Gabriel, even though when they first got to Alexandria, he was in Diana's ears saying these are evil people. Now he's getting to where they can trust him. He's become a preacher in the town, and he takes Judith to the church. He says, "Hey, I've got this. I'll take care of her. Don't worry about it." And he takes her to the church. Meanwhile, they're trying to make it somewhere else. At the same time, you've got the doctor being held captive by the wolf that Morgan had tried to keep alive. He had built like a prison room so they wouldn't have to kill people, right?
Yep.
And Carl gets shot because there's a melee outside, and they lose the entire Blonde's family, which I think is one of the greatest moments of The Walking Dead, because I hated all these fucking people. I hated them all. But the teenager who was pissed off at Rick for killing his father tried to put one in him and got skewered by Michonne with the samurai sword, and the bullet ended up going right into Carl's eye.
Yeah, I was going to say, Carl got shot in the eye, not just shot.
Not just shot, got his eye taken out. But we know this by now. The Grimeses eat bullets like chiclets. It's no big deal. It'll be all right.
Oh, yeah.
But Michonne, and this is the first time you really see that Michonne has taken a motherly relationship with this bunch. You know what I mean? With Rick's kids. And she freaks out and starts whacking everything all the way to the doctor's office to get him in there. And that's when Rick leaves the reservation for the second time in the series and decides to go out there and kill every zombie he can get his hands on. And this leads to my favorite scene in The Walking Dead. It's when all the townspeople start coming out to help him. And my favorite scene is Father Gabriel. He's got Judith in his hands and hands him to one of the churchgoers that's in the church with him. And the big guy who had kind of a love interest with Carol, I can't remember that character's name, but you know who I'm talking about. The guy that was working at that one site that Abraham was working at.
Was that Sam?
He says, "Where are you going?" And he's got a machete in his hand, right? And he's Morgan, or not Morgan, but Father Gabriel says, we've been sitting here all night praying for the Lord to save our town. And he's answered our prayers. He's given us the courage to save it ourselves. And he's out the door. And I was like, that is awesome. That's my favorite scene in The Walking Dead. You want to talk about hope, Knock? That was fucking dynamite right there. I loved it. It was awesome.
Rick rubbed off on him.
Rick rubbed off on him. Yes, he did. Anyway, it continues on. Glenn and Maggie are reunited, but not in the way she imagined. He is once again under duress and about to be killed, and that's when Abraham shows up, asking him to get the gate. Thanks a lot, pal. And kills every one of them around him and Sasha with machine guns. It's just real. That's my favorite show. And then Daryl turns that fucking gas truck that they've been driving around into the biggest bug zapper in the world, and he sets the lake, the pond on fire, and all the zombies go into it. Hey, Christian, how you doing? But yeah, my favorite episode. Anybody ever asks me, that's it. No Way Out, the season premiere of the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead in season 6 is my favorite episode. I could have watched it after. I could have stopped watching it after that. I could have, but my wife had never let me do that. So,
yeah, it's the next episode where they actually meet Jesus.
Yeah.
After No Way Out,
and he tells you your world's about to get a whole lot bigger. Yeah.
Yep. And he's like, "There's this group." It tells him about Negan's people, the Saviors,
Hillside, where he's from.
Yeah, Hilltop. Yeah,
Hilltop. Hilltop. That's it. Hillside.
Listen. And they want to start trading with them, but they need help because the Saviors are extorting half their crops or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And
we've got we find out about the kingdom. That's the next guy that I really dug.
Ezekiel.
King Ezekiel is a bad motherfucker. I love him.
And his tiger.
Great. Yes. I think he's awesome.
That's not till season 7.
No, that's not till next season.
Well, we're talking about, the different communities they're going to run into.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, man. Just this. Well, actually, we might. Yeah, that's right. We do meet King Ezekiel in season 7, but there's some grisly stuff that happens. They get contracted by Hilltop to take out. Well, I guess you could say contracted. Part of the deal they're going to make with Hilltop for food is, we're going to
take care of your savior problem.
Some people out. Yeah.
We'll take care of your savior problem for you.
And that bites them in the ass, doesn't it?
Easy peasy.
Last episode of this season is when Maggie's sick. They're trying to get her to Hilltop to see a doctor.
And they hear.
Yes. And they get what may be the best scene ever in The Walking Dead, Negan's little speech to him there when they get them all together. Yep. And a lot of people checked out of this after that because of the season premiere of season 8, but we're going to get to that next time.
Yeah.
So halfway through our run here, I'd say, ending season 6 is a good way to end it for tonight.
Because that's when he's got them all captured and he pulls out, he's got Lucille and he's walking by giving that speech.
But you know what? I knew it was Abraham he was pounding on. I knew it. I knew it was him because when he hit him and they showed the blood in front of the screen, he said, "Taking it like a champ." I was like, yeah, there's only one guy to take a blow to the head like that and be sitting there defiant. Yeah. I knew it was him. I knew it was. I told my wife as much. You can ask her. I did. I knew it was him. I was like, shit. Because I knew who it was supposed to be from reading the comic books. And we'll get to that next time. But when he said that, when he said he's taking it like a champ, I was like, oh, man. No. That my boy just got whacked. And I loved Abraham, man. I really did. He's awesome. But anyway, your thoughts on the first 6 seasons of The Walking Dead, boys and girls?
Season 5 killed it for me.
Season 5 killed it for you?
Yeah, I didn't get back into it till I think it was a couple seasons had been out, and I binged watched them.
Yeah.
And I got back into it, but it definitely took a couple seasons for me to come back because I was getting so annoyed by the endless, pointless plots that were happening.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it got super slow.
Yeah, well, you could say that. You could say that.
It did get slow, but there was a lot of character development too.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the beginning of this season, we didn't trust Gabriel as far as we could throw him. And by the end of the season, he was a vital part of the community. So, and plus you've got Carol, man, wow. When they first got to Alexandria, oh my God, this little Susie Homemaker shit she was doing was fucking hilarious, man.
Oh yeah, oh my God. And it was all up front. It was all up front.
That's because she was basically all the lives she had taken up to that point had kind of broke her a little bit.
Yeah.
So she retreated into this this homemaker persona.
Yep. But it was all still there.
Oh,
remember, she when the kid found her in the friggin' the weapons cache, the armory.
Yeah.
Right? What are you doing here? And what did she say to him? Look, if you tell anybody about this, I'm going to take you in the middle of the night, tie you to a tree, and then you're going to get eaten. I mean, he scared the shit out of that kid, man. And matter of fact, Carol's probably the one that got that entire family killed because that kid was scared to death walking through all those fucking zombies.
How many times did she get exiled?
Right.
Several times at least. Yeah.
Well, at least once by her own decision.
Yeah. Now after the whole Alexandria experience, she went. Matter of fact, she had already left him by the end of this season because she didn't know about what happened with Negan. If you remember.
Yeah.
She didn't know about it, so she'd already left on her own.
Yeah, she had she went to the kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. See that? I'm pretty sure we meet Ezekiel near the end of this season.
No, we don't meet him. It's near the beginning of the second seven. It even says it. The episode.
Okay.
Carol and Morgan are brought to a community called the Kingdom, led by the eccentric King Ezekiel.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hang on. She had left. Oh yeah, it's coming to me now. She had left. She killed that bunch of guys that showed up. That bunch of saviors that showed up. She killed them, right?
Yeah.
And then one of them lived through it and tracked her, right? I think Rick and Morgan were looking for at one point, right, to bring her back.
I think Morgan ended up doing because Rick was with the group still,
right? Yeah. And Morgan ended up saving her, and the guy pulled up on horseback with the armor on. And that's the first time we saw the guys from the Kingdom.
Yep,
it was in that final episode. Yeah.
Well, episode
now
2.
I remember. Now I remember. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, we will get into this more next time around, boys and girls. Like I said, I see these all the time. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a free streaming channel called The Walking Dead Universe, and my wife keeps it on there when she has nothing to watch. I see this show all the damn time, dude. And you know what they show on there more than anything? The fucking prison. I see those episodes all the damn time. Is the prison episodes, man. But that may have been the height of the popularity of this show.
Yeah.
Was when the governor was the bad guy, because I know a lot of people checked out after Negan joined it,
Oh, see, Negan's my favorite. I love Negan.
I love Negan.
I think Negan got me back into it.
Yeah. Negan's great. Don't get me wrong. I dig him. But I'm just saying a lot of the popularity of this show went out the window when the governor was gone. So maybe they thought they weren't going to have another bad guy as good as him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all these bad guys just amped it up a little bit more every time. I mean, Alpha was almost more dangerous than Negan was.
Oh yeah, Alpha was freaking scary.
Yeah. I mean,
there's nothing scarier than a true believer.
Right? Yep. Oof. Yeah, That may mean Beta is the most scary guy then. Shit.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know it at first that Beta was Ryan Hurst, but he's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Actors.
Oh, dude, that guy's a mountain of a guy.
I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I had no idea when it first came out. I saw it later that it was him. I was like, oh my God, that got me more interested in that character.
Absolutely, man.
He is one of my favorite characers.
Yep. All right. Well, listen, we're gonna leave it. Oh, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I'm gonna try and watch the rest of this season. Probably Monday or Sunday
before next week. Okay.
Yeah. Well, not Sunday because I've got paper to write, but Monday and Tuesday.
And you got a show to run too.
Yeah,
I
on Sunday.
On the second part of this, I do want to discuss the last episode or last season. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the problems, John. But hey, it works out. It works out. Everything works out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got some questions about that last season, and I want to.
Yeah. Look, like I said, I'd have checked out way before now. I'd have been through it. I'd have checked out. Well, we'll get to it next week because it happens.
Yeah.
In a future season. But anyway, boys and girls, let me let you know what's going on with the channel. Of course, tomorrow night is the year in review episode of The Brothers Hack the Matrix. Me and Danny will be wrapping up the clown show that was 2022 because my brother is going on a cruise for 3 weeks and will not be here for 3 weeks. So be sure to tune in for that at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. And then we're also doing a year-end wrap-up on Sketching the Privateer, me creating my own comic book. We're going to show you all the pages already plotted and where it goes from there. And that's me and Justifier Jim, Saturday, 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern. And then, of course, you've got Knock and Small Time Republic joining me for NFL pregame party. We're going to be talking about the bowl games that are coming up and the Final Four teams, which haven't changed from this graphic, actually, have they, Knock? It's Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and TCU in the playoffs. So we'll be talking about all that stuff. 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 2 hours before kickoff on Sunday. And I need to make a new graphic for this, but I'm doing a walkthrough on The Force Unleashed. If you haven't seen that game before, I'm doing that on Mondays. It's called Papa Joe Gamer After Dark, and it starts at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. It's the only Twitch show I do these days. I do it for 3 hours. We have a few video games, cocktails, and fails, and we'll meet you right back here next week for our wrap-up of the review of the entire series of The Walking Dead. We'll be picking up where we left off, and that'll be the first episode of Season 7. Who was it that Negan was beating to death in front of us at the end of Season 6? We'll find out next week. And for my distinguished panel, John Das Wolfen from Pop Culture Minefield and Knock, the great Knockster, I want to say thank you for watching. And we will see you next week. And until we see you again, you guys keep on keeping on. God bless.